Hi everyone, in this video I'll be installing and testing the Privacy Badger extension in my browser. It's used to automatically block the invisible trackers on websites to help protect your privacy. These are the trackers that are checking to see what type of device you're using, your browser, where you're geographically located, and more. The great thing that separates Privacy Badger from the other extensions is that it can dynamically learn which domains are tracking you, so it's just not based on a set list. When this learning is enabled, Privacy Badger doesn't block on first sight. It waits until it sees consistent tracking on multiple sites, and then it'll start blocking. One use case scenario is if you browse websites that are not as common or not well known, it'll be able to learn of these tracker domains quicker than receiving updates to the lists. A caveat of the learning ability they mention is that if a bad actor can create a Privacy Badger specific fingerprint that can help identify you across sites, and then it'll be able to see how many times it takes for a Privacy Badger to learn to finally block it. Now, Privacy Badger sees these as serious concerns, but not showstoppers to local learning. However, they have disabled local learning by default, and you'll have to enable it under Advanced, which I'll show. So now I'm going to install Privacy Badger. So I'm using Chrome here, and I'm going to go into the web store. And I'm going to add it to Chrome. Add. All right, it's been added. Here it says, thank you for installing Privacy Badger. I'm just going to close this. I'm going to go into my extensions, and I'm going to pin it. We see it's available. And so I have Privacy Badger running in this window here, and I'm going to create an incognito window. And so in this incognito window, the Privacy Badger by default isn't enabled. And so I'm going to do a baseline test, and I'm going to go into developer mode, go to more tools, developer tools, and go to network. So I can see what is going to be accessed when I visit a website. I'm going to expand this. I'm going to put in my test site, so I'm going to go to newyorktimes.com. All right, and we can see here that there's a whole bunch of data that was retrieved. And now I'm going to go back into my main window. And I'm going to open up a new tab. And I'm going to do the same thing, going into my developer tools. And then I'm going to go to the New York Times website. And I'm going to click on the Privacy Badger extension. I'm going to close this. And it's saying 14 potential trackers blocked. I'm going to expand it. And we can see all of these domains that have been blocked. And so, for example, warp.media.net. So if I were to go into here, I'm going to filter out for warp.media.net. And we see here I was trying to retrieve clienttag.js, this JavaScript file, but it was blocked, which is good. And then now I'm going to go into my incognito window, and then I'm going to look for the same thing, warp.media.net. And we see here that it downloaded the file, so it got the file. We got a status 200, so it was able to retrieve that file. Going to check what it is. Going to select it, and it shows the headers. And then if I go to response, and then we can see all the code here for this JavaScript file and what it's trying to do. And after looking at the file, this file, it's used to collect metadata on me, hence the name client tag. It would try to collect my browser type, my operating system, the device I'm using, if it's like a desktop or a tablet or a phone, and then the time zone that I'm in to geographically target me, and so on. So I can see why it would be blocked by Privacy Badger, as this isn't information that I would want them to know about me. And so going back, and so the other domains that were blocked were iterate HQ, geoedge.be, doubleclick.net, chartbeat.net, brandmetrics.com, and amazon-adsystem.com. So a number of domains were blocked by Privacy Badger, which is good. And if I want to enable learning, just go into the options and then go to general settings. At the bottom, there's advanced and learn to block new trackers from your browsing. And there's an exclamation mark here. Enable learning may make you more identifiable to websites. There's a bubble here, and if you click on it, it'll give some more information as to what I discussed earlier about one of the caveats to it. So if you want to take a look at it, you can, so you can understand it better. And again, primarily, this is great to use if you visit websites that are not as well known, not as common. So this can definitely help you out. And then the other options here, disabled sites. So how to disable Privacy Badger without leaving the site. So if there's an issue with visiting one of your sites, you can put it in here. You can add in the site so then it won't block anything. And then there's widget replacement. And when blocking social buttons and other potential useful widgets, Privacy Badger can replace them with click to activate placeholders. So you can put in widget exceptions and site exceptions. There's tracking domains. And then so Privacy Badger has decided to block 2,940 potential tracking domains so far. And so you can search for any of these. Like for example, I had warp.media.net from earlier. And you can also filter by the type and filter by the status. And there's manage data, where you can import your user data, for example, certain sites that you want to have it disabled. And there's buttons to export and import. And you can sync it to the cloud as well. And at the bottom, you can reset the tracking domains or remove all the tracking domains. And so that's Privacy Badger and how it can help you block those invisible trackers on websites. I hope this video was useful and I thank you for watching. Bye now.